Imagine this. In the dim flicker of a candlelit chamber, an alchemist, his hands scarred by elixirs and his eyes wild with forbidden sight, traces a single line upon a crumbling parchment. That line blooms into branches, roots delving into the abyss, crowns piercing the heavens. It is no mere drawing. It is the tree of life, the veiled blueprint of creation, the silent architect of your very existence. For millennia, this sacred glyph has whispered to those daring enough to listen, "You are not adrift in chaos. You are the unfolding of divine geometry. Welcome, seeker, to the heart of the unseen." Today, we pierce the veil on the secret meaning of the tree of life. That enigmatic symbol revered in the shadowed halls of Kabbalah, etched into the myths of ancient Egypt, and woven through the tapestries of Hermetic wisdom. Far from a dusty relic of old tomes, this tree is a living oracle, a cosmic ladder bridging the mud of your daily struggles to the stars of enlightenment. It reveals not just the structure of the universe, but the hidden pathways within you, the fractures in your spirit, the sparks of genius waiting to ignite. In this journey, we'll wander the roots of its ancient origins, from the seers of Israel to the philosophers of Alexandria, unearthing how this tree has guarded the alchemical gold of human potential. We'll ascend its trunk, decoding the 10 luminous spheres, Sephirot, they are called, that map the flow of divine energy, like rivers of light carving canyons through the soul. And we'll climb to its crown, where illusions shatter, and you'll grasp the profound truth. Mastery of the tree is mastery of self. But this is no idle reverie. Interwoven with these revelations, I'll share practical rites, simple meditations, breathwork talismans that transform esoteric theory into tangible power. You'll learn to attune your energy to its branches, dissolving blockages that chain you to fear, awakening the dormant God within. By journey's end, you'll carry this tree not as knowledge, but as a compass for your awakening. Dare to step closer. The branches await. What secrets will they whisper to you? To grasp the tree of life is to stand at the crossroads where myth bleeds into eternity, where the whispers of desert prophets entwine with the thunder of cosmic architects. This is no modern invention, no fleeting fancy of the new age. No, seeker, the tree is the spine of creation itself, a glyph forged in the crucibles of antiquity, its roots drinking from the well of forgotten gods. Let us descend into its shadowed cradle. Our tale begins in the cradle of Mesopotamia, some 5 millennia past, where the Sumerians beheld the world as a great axis mundi, a world tree, Yggdrasil's kin, its branches cradling the heavens, its roots gnawing at the underworld's bones. The Babylonians refined this vision in their Enuma Elish, the epic of Genesis, where the goddess Tiamat's corpse is split asunder to birth the cosmos. Her ribs become the vault of sky, her veins the rivers of fate. Here, the tree emerges not as wood and leaf, but as the primal scaffold upon which all form hangs, a metaphor for the divine emanation, the outpouring of chaos into ordered light. But it is in the fertile crescent of ancient Israel that the tree takes its most luminous form, cloaked in the sacred fire of Kabbalah. Picture the exile in Babylon, 6th century BCE. Jewish mystics, their temples razed, their spirits adrift, turn inward to the Torah's veiled layers. From the book of Ezekiel's vision of the tree planted by rivers of water, Ezekiel 17:5-8, they weave a tapestry of 10 Sephirot, emanations of the Ein Sof, the infinite void beyond name. The Zohar, that crimson rose of medieval mysticism penned in 13th century Spain by the enigmatic Moses de Leon, unveils the tree as Etz Chaim, the axis of mercy and severity, a ladder of ascent where the soul climbs from Malkuth's earthly dross to Kether's crown of unity. Ah, but the tree wanders far, a nomad of the spirit. In Egypt's sun-blasted sands, it mirrors the Persea tree of Heliopolis, whose fruit grants immortality to the pharaoh's Ka, the double soul. Thoth, ibis-headed scribe of the gods, inscribed its branches with the Hermetic keys. As above, so below, the emerald tablet declares, echoing the tree's vertical harmony. Pythagoras, that wanderer from Samos in the 6th century BCE, drank from these wells in Croton, his golden verses hinting at numerical emanations, the decad, tenfold perfection, that prefigure the Sephirot's decimal dance. The Renaissance alchemists seized this flame like thieves in the night. Paracelsus, the stormy physician of 16th century Europe, saw the tree as the philosopher's stone incarnate, a vascular map of the microcosm, where Mercury's volatility mirrors the path from Yesod's lunar flux to Tifereth's solar heart. Flamel, that eternal enigma, etched it into his cryptograms, guarding the elixir that transmutes leaden regrets into golden gnosis. Even Christian mystics, from Hildegard of Bingen's verdant visions to Swedenborg's celestial hierarchies, grafted the tree onto the cross, branches as apostles, roots as patriarchs, revealing its universal tongue. Philosophically, the tree is the antidote to dualism's poison. In Platonic shadows, it counters the cave's illusions with emanative light. In Neoplatonism's Plotinus, 3rd century CE, the one overflows into nous, then Psyche, a procession mirrored in the tree's descending pillars. It is the via media between Eastern non-duality and Western theism. Advaita Vedanta's Brahman web finds kin in its interconnected spheres, while Sufi Marifa, the gnosis of the heart, traces its paths in Rumi's reed flute lament. Yet herein lies its esoteric peril and power. Guarded by oaths and Merkabah mysticism, Ezekiel's chariot visions that drove adepts mad, the tree was no public scroll. It demanded purity. The tzaddik, the righteous one, alone could ascend without shattering. In Lurianic Kabbalah of 16th century Sephirot, Isaac Luria mended the cosmic vessel's breakage, Sephirot Hakelim, repositioning the Sephirot as Tikkun, repair of the world's fractures. This is the tree's deepest significance, not mere symbol, but praxis. It maps the soul's exile from divine unity, the sparks of holiness trapped in clipote shells of illusion, awaiting your hand to liberate them. In spiritual practice, the tree is the hermit's forge, the yogi's yantra. It teaches that enlightenment is not escape, but integration, harmonizing the left pillar's Gabura fire with the right's chesed waters, balancing Netzach's victory with Had's splendor. Across traditions, it warns of hubris, the fall as descent from Binah's understanding into material entrapment, yet promises redemption through disciplined ascent. As we linger in these historical myths, feel the tree's pulse quicken. It is no dead relic, but a living covenant, binding the seer's trance to your morning breath. From Sumer's ziggurats to the Golden Dawn's Victorian rites, it endures as the philosopher's compass, guiding through the labyrinth of being. What echoes of these ancients stir in your blood? The branches call, shall we climb? Now that we've traced the tree's ancient veins through the sands of time, let us press our palms against its bark and feel the sap of truth rise. The tree of life, Etzchaim in the sacred tongue, is no static sketch, no ornamental doodle in a monk's margin. It is the universe's own anatomy, a dynamic mandala where divine will cascades into form, and form yearns to reclaim its source. At its heart lie the 10 Sephirot, luminous orbs, like jewels strung on invisible wires, each a facet of the infinite refracted into the finite. They form 3 pillars, the pillar of mercy on the right, flowing with expansive grace, the pillar of severity on the left, tempered by contraction's forge, and the central pillar of equilibrium, the razor's edge where opposites dissolve into harmony. Begin at the roots, seeker, for all ascents demand a reckoning with the depths. Malkuth, the 10th Sephirah, kingdom, the black earth sphere at the tree's base, is your anchor in the manifest world. Imagine it as the soil of a vast garden, fertile yet fraught, where seeds of intention take root amid thorns of distraction. Here, in the kingdom of the senses, the divine light, or Ein Sof, first condenses into density. It is the realm of Asiya, the world of action, where spirit wears the coarse garment of matter. The Zohar likens Malkuth to the Shekinah, the indwelling feminine presence, exiled yet ever present, like a queen veiled in beggar's rags. Touch this sphere, and you touch your body, the pulse in your veins, the weight of your feet on stone-cold floors. But beware, Malkuth's illusion is separation, the whisper that you are but flesh, adrift in a mechanical dream. Its secret? It is the gateway, the alchemical prima materia from which all transmutation springs. Ascending like smoke from an altar, we reach Yesod, the ninth Sephirot, foundation, the lunar mirror, the astral loom where dreams weave reality's threads. Picture Yesod as a silvered pond under midnight's gaze, reflective, fluid, the subconscious ocean where impressions from above filter down and impulses from below bubble up. Ruled by the element of air and the moon's tidal pull, it governs the Yetzirah realm of formation, the blueprint stage where thoughts congeal into symbols. In Kabbalistic lore, Yesod is the tzaddik, the righteous conduit, channeling vital force like a phallic staff of light, uniting Malkuth's earth with higher fires. Yet its shadow lurks in illusion's fog. Fantasies unchecked become phantoms, addictions that bind the soul to cyclic churn. From Yesod's waters rises Had, the eighth Sephirot, splendor, a crystalline lattice of intellect, Mercury's quicksilver domain. Envision Had as a vast library of living fractals, shelves groaning under tomes of analysis, where the mind dissects the divine puzzle. On the left pillar of severity, it tempers mercy's flood with reason's scalpel, birthing science, logic, communication, the tools of the archangel Michael, guardian of thresholds. Here, the Braya world of creation stirs. Ideas spark like neurons firing in the cosmic brain. But Had's peril is rigidity, the sterile Tower of Babel where words fracture unity, and overthinking severs the heart's intuitive thread. Its gift? Precision as prayer, when aligned. Had crafts talismans of thought, sigils that bend probability to will. Mirroring Had across the central axis stands Netzach, the seventh Sephirot, victory, Venus's verdant grove, the right pillar's blooming impulse. Feel it as a wild orchid in eternal spring. Desire's fire, emotions tide, the unbridled urge to create and conquer. Netzach is the realm of nature's rhythms, art's ecstasy, passion's roar, where Haniel's angelic host dances in erotic abandon. It infuses the Yetzirah with beauty's magnetism, drawing disparate parts into wholeness. Yet unchecked, it devolves to hedonism's swamp, Venusian traps of excess where victory sours to vanity. The secret harmony? When Netzach's flame kisses Had's form, poetry is born. Intellect ignited by feeling, the philosopher's stone of inspired action. These lower triads, Malkuth, Yesod, and the Had-Netzach pair, form the nephesh, the animal soul, the vital engine churning through the planes of density. They are the forge of incarnation, where the raw ore of spirit is hammered into human shape. But pause here, for the tree teaches a profound metaphor. You are this lower garden, yes, but only the soil for greater blooms. Like a river carving a canyon, the light descends not to drown in mud, but to sculpt the soul's terrain. In practice, attune to these spheres through the body. Stand barefoot on dew-kissed grass for Malkuth's grounding, journal fever dreams under moonlight for Yesod's whispers, debate a paradox aloud for Had's clarity, or lose yourself in a lover's gaze for Netzach's surrender. Feel the current stir? This is the Ein Sof's first ripple, the infinite's echo in your finite frame. Now, let the ascent quicken. Above the astral fray towers Tifereth, the sixth Sephirot, beauty, the solar heart at the tree's axis, where the pillars converge in golden equilibrium. Ah, Tifereth, the Christos, the Atman, the Ruach's throne. Imagine it as the sun at noon, unblinking orb of integration, radiating Raphael's healing rays. In the Braya of creation, it is the mediator, the son of divine parents, Chokma's wisdom and Binah's understanding, born to reconcile opposites. Here, the ego yields to the higher self, the I expands to we, and sacrifice becomes sacrament. The Zohar calls it the lesser countenancing, the face that gazes upon the infinite without flinching. Tifereth's light is the alchemist's rubido, the reddening dawn after night's negredo. It governs the chest, the heart chakra's throne, where compassion dissolves isolation's ice. Its shadow, the false sun of narcissism, where beauty twists to idolatry. Yet mastered, it bestows charisma's mantle. Leaders heal nations, artists birth epics, lovers transcend flesh. Consider the metaphor of the king enthroned amid warring barons. Hod's logic and Netzach's passion bow to Tifereth's decree, birthing balanced will. In your life, this is the pivot. The moment you choose forgiveness over grudge, creation over complaint. Flanking Tifereth on the pillars of ascent, we encounter Geburah and Chesed, the fifth and fourth Sephirot, severity and mercy, the divine parent's stern hand and open palm. Chesed, on the right, is Jupiter's cornucopia, expansive love pouring like manna from Metatron's quill. It is the realm of abundance, the Yetzirah's architect of grace, where Kamael's warriors forge benevolence's shield. Envision it as an endless banquet hall, tables laden with gifts for the undeserving, forgiveness without ledger, creation without limit. But excess begets sloth. Mercy untempered drowns in sentiment's flood. Opposed, Geburah, the left pillar's thunderclap is Mars' forge, contraction's blade, the fierce discernment that prunes the tree's wild growth. Safkiel's domain, it is justice's fire, the breaker of vessels in Lurianic myth, where excess is cold to preserve the whole. Picture a gardener's shears, swift and unyielding, severing dead limbs to feed the living flame. Geburah governs the sword of truth, the boundary that defines sacred space. Its shadow is tyranny, wrath's devouring maw. Yet harnessed, it births discipline, the warrior's vow, the artist's ruthless edit. Together, these form the middle triad with Tifereth, the neshama's cradle, the moral compass steering the soul toward unity. They whisper the Hermetic law of polarity. Light demands shadow to shine, expansion, contraction to endure. In the tree's grand analogy, you are the acorn within the oak. Lower spheres your shell, these middle your unfolding leaves. Ascend through them, and the world's chaos resolves into curriculum. Every trial a Geburah lesson, every grace a Chesed boon, every insight a Tifereth revelation. As we pause midway up this luminous trunk, sense the shift. The air thins. The light intensifies. We've mapped the manifest's labyrinth, the soul's forge where base metals gleam. But the upper reaches beckon. Binah's womb, Chokma's bolt, Kether's silence. These are the supernal triad, the Abba and Imma, where creation's spark ignites. Hold this vision close. It is your map through midnight's veil. What fractures in your foundation does the tree illuminate? Breathe into Malkuth now. Feel the earth rise to meet you. With the middle realm's equilibrium humming in your veins, Seeker, we press onward, higher, where the air grows rarefied, the illusions thinner, and the divine pulse thunders like a forge god's hammer. The tree's supernal triad awaits. The crown jewels, the unmanifest trinity from which all lesser lights cascade. These are not spheres for the faint of heart. They are the primordial waters, the bolt of will, the womb of form, raw forces veiled in mystery, demanding surrender before revelation. At the apex gleams Kether, the first Sephirot, crown, the point of pure potential, the Ein Sof's first breath made manifest. Envision Kether not as a sphere, but as a singularity. A white-hot singularity where infinity folds into zero, the monad's silent explosion. It is the realm of Atziluth, the archetypal world, where no duality exists, only the will to be. The Zohar whispers of it as the Ancient of Days, the primordial point from which Or, the primal light, erupts like a supernova's birth. Ruled by no planet, no element, but the element of elements, Kether is Metatron's throne, the scribe angel who pens creation's first syllable. Here, time dissolves. You are the creator, unbegotten, the I am echoing through void. Yet Kether's secret is its terror. To touch it is to dissolve the self, to gaze into the abyss that gazes back. In Neoplatonic echoes, it mirrors the one, ineffable, beyond attributes, yet in Kabbalah, it hints at paradox, unity pregnant with multiplicity. The path to Kether is not striving, but cessation. Like a flame merging with the sun, the ego's spark returns to source. In your inner landscape, this is the crown chakra's lotus, thousand-petaled and blinding, where meditation yields not visions, but voids of bliss. Flanking Kether on the right pillar surges Chokmah, the second Sephirot, wisdom, the dynamic father force, the lightning zigzagging from crown to creation. Picture Chokmah as a cosmic storm, electric, formless, the raw impulse of divine masculinity bursting forth in ecstatic frenzy. It is the Abba, the supernal seed, Zodiac's whirlwind under Ratziel's gaze, the angel of secrets who unveils the unmanifest. In Atziluth's forge, Chokmah is the beginning, the yes of Genesis, the creative word before the letter forms. Hermes Trismegistus nods here. It is the nous, the divine mind's first idea, pure potential uncoiling like a serpent from the crown. Chokmah's gift is intuition's gale, flashes of genius that strike like thunderbolts, birthing prophets and inventors. Yet its shadow is chaos unbound. Wisdom without vessel shatters into madness, the Dionysian revel without Apollo's lyre. The tree teaches balance. Chokmah flows to Chesed below, channeling frenzy into benevolence's river. Metaphorically, you are this bolt, your aha moments, the midnight inspirations that rewrite your fate. But harness it wrongly, and it scatters, ideas unborn, potentials wasted in distraction's gale. To Chokmah's left stands Binah, the third Sephirot, understanding the Great Mother, the chalice receiving wisdom's flood, crystallizing chaos into structure. Binah, the Imma, Saturn's somber garden, where limits birth form, and the womb's darkness nurtures light. Envision it as a vast cathedral of ebony and crystal, echoing vaults where silence speaks, to Zafkul's domain of time and memory, the separator that draws boundaries around the infinite spill. In the Zohar, Binah is the supernal mother, veiling Kether's blaze to make it bearable, the no that tempers yes, birthing the 7 lower Sephirot from her matrix. Binah governs the left pillar's contraction, the alchemical solve et coagula, dissolve and congeal, where ideas take shape as archetypes. It is the realm of sorrow's forge, for limitation implies loss, the mother's pang in parting with her child. Yet from this grief blooms profundity. Philosophers weep into tomes. Artists carve beauty from absence. Its peril? Rigidity's tomb. Understanding calcified into dogma, Saturn devouring his young. Balanced, Binah feeds Gebura's severity, granting discernment's sword. In your soul, this is the third eye's vigil, the pause before action, the reflection that transmutes impulse into legacy. These supernals, Kether, Chokmah, Bina, form the Yeshida, the unique essence, the spark of Godhead within. They are the unstruck sound, the blueprint before the builder's hand. The tree's profound analogy unfolds here. Creation is not a single fiat, but an emanation, a willful contraction, Tzimtzum in Lurianic lore, where the infinite withdraws to make space for the other. Like a lover exhaling to draw breath shared, the divine pours forth in stages. Kether's point expands to Chokmah's line, Binah's plane, then the pyramidal descent through the pillars. This is the secret of the 22 paths, the Hebrew letters bridging spheres, like neural highways firing across the cosmic web. Aleph, the ox, connects Kether to Chokmah, breath as bridge from unity to duality. But delve deeper, for the tree harbors nuances that twist the mind like roots in stone. Consider the Da'at, the hidden 11th, not a Sephirot proper, but the abyss of knowledge, a phantom sphere at Tifereth's throat where supernals meet the manifest. Da'at is the non-Sephirah, the shadow of unity. When Chokmah and Binah unite in Kether's kiss, it manifests as knowing's fire, a Gnostic flash that bypasses the pillar's dance. In some diagrams, it glows like a black sun, devouring illusions. In others, it's void, the Kulathoth's gateway if unbalanced. The contradiction? The tree is both linear ladder and holographic whole. Each Sephirah contains all others, fractally infinite. Meditate on this. Your anger in Malkuth echoes Geburah's forge. Your joy in Netzach mirrors Chesed's flood. Lesser-known aspects whisper of the four worlds' veils. Atziluth's archetypal fire cloaks in Briah's watery creation, Yetzirah's airy formation, Asiya's earthy deed. The light descends, veiled, or Yashar, direct beam, but ascends rectified, or Iber, pregnant gleam, gathering sparks from the klipo, those husk shells of broken vessels. Luria's Tikkun Olam is the tree's urgent call. You are the repairer, wandering the branches to reclaim divinity's shards from materialism's grip. Imagine your life as this, a fallen spark in a coffee-stained contract, Malkuth's dross, Orn, ignited by a sudden insight, Da'at's blaze, ascending through Tifereth's heart to Binah's understanding, where it reforms as purposeful art. Examples abound in myth's mirror. The biblical tree in Eden? Not mere applewood, but this Kabbalistic scaffold, knowledge of good and evil as the Da'at chasm, the fall of descent from the supernal unity into dual Malkuth, the serpent Yesed's astral coil tempting with premature gnosis. Prometheus stealing fire? Chokmah's bolt gifted to humanity, Geburah's chains the price. Even modern echoes. Jung's collective unconscious as the astral Netzach Hod weave, archetypes birthed from Binah's womb. These revelations forge the tree's core truth. It is your psychic anatomy, a GPS for the soul's odyssey. Lower spheres tame the beast, middle harmonize the man, upper reclaim the god. Nuances like the veils of negative existence, beyond Kether, the Ein Sof, Ein Sof Our, remind. No map charts the unchartable. Contradictions? The tree is patriarchal in name, yet feminine in flow, Shekinah rising from Malkuth to Binah's embrace. It is static diagram, yet dynamic rite, personal mandala, yet collective cure. As the paths hum with potential, feel the full circuit. Energy spirals up the right pillar, expansion. Down the left, contraction. Balance is central, like Kundalini uncoiling your spine. This is no abstract lore. It's the Hermetic key turning locks in your now. What wisdom from Chokmah strikes you unbidden? What form does Binah bid you build? The crown awaits your gaze. Dare to dissolve. You've beheld the tree's grandeur, traced its branches through the veils of history and mystery. But knowledge unchained from action is but a ghost, haunting, yet impotent. Now, seeker, we descend from the crown's rarefied heights into the forge of your flesh. Practical rites to embody the tree, to weave its light into the warp and weft of your days. These are no lofty incantations for cloistered monks, but alchemical tools for the modern mystic, the barista invoking chesed amid steam and haste, the coder balancing Geberah's blade in lines of code. The tree is your living grimoire. Let us activate its paths, one breath, one gesture at a time. Begin at the base, where all power pools. Malkuth's kingdom, the prima materia of your incarnation. To ground in this sphere is to claim sovereignty over the manifest, dissolving the fog of disconnection that plagues our screenlit age. The rite, the earth anchor. Meditation. Find a patch of soil. Your apartment's potted fern will suffice if the wild calls not. Stand barefoot, feet hip-width, knees soft as willow. Inhale deeply through the nose, counting 4 heartbeats. Visualize roots unfurling from your soles, black tendrils delving into Malkuth's loamy core, drawing up the scent of wet stone and ancient peat. Exhale for 6, releasing tension as smoke, worries, to-do lists, the chatter of unquiet mind. Repeat thrice, then affirm, I am the kingdom, rooted in the now. Feel the shift. Your body, once a vessel adrift, becomes the temple's foundation. Practice daily at dawn. Within a week, you'll notice synchronicities bloom. Opportunities once missed now magnetized, as if the earth conspires in your favor. From Malkuth's stability, ascend to Yesod's astral tides, where dreams are the soul's secret language, often drowned in the roar of REM suppressants like blue light and caffeine. Here, the foundation rite awakens the subconscious loom, the dream weaver's journal. Before sleep, dim the lamps to lunar glow. Sketch a simple tree sigil on paper, 10 circles linked by paths. Place it under your pillow like a lover's note. As eyelids heavy, trace the glyph in your mind's eye, whispering, Yesod, unveil the veiled. Let visions flow as rivers to the sea. Upon waking, before coffee's siren call, record fragments, symbols, colors, emotions, no judgment, just the raw ore. Overnights, patterns emerge, recurring motifs as omens, guiding career pivots or relational mends. Challenge met. The mind resists with amnesia. Counter with a bedside crystal, amethyst for recall, and a vow. I honor the night's counsel. This practice transmutes nocturnal chaos into diurnal compass, birthing intuitions that rival oracle bones. Now, Warani, balance the intellect's forge in Hod and the heart's wild garden in Netzach, the lower triad's dynamic duo, where thought and feeling clash like swords in a lover's quarrel. For Hod's splendor, invoke Mercury's quill through the paradox invocation, a daily debate with the divine. Select a knot in your life, a stalled project, a festering doubt. Sit at your desk altar, a candle, a feather quill suffice, and argue both sides aloud. This path leads to ruin, yet whispers of gold. Time it to 11 minutes, Hod's number, and end by tracing the Hebrew letter Zayin, sword of discernment, on your palm with ink or intent. This sharpens the mind's edge, cutting through indecision's brambles. Peril? Over-analysis paralysis. Temper with a Hod talisman, a citrine stone etched with clarity cuts, pocketed as reminder to act, not just cogitate. Netzach's victory demands surrender's fire, Venusian rites to fan desire's flame without scorching the grove. The rose offering. In a quiet hour, gather petals, real or visualized, then arrange them in Netzach's heptagon, 7 for its sphere. Anoint with essential oil, rose or jasmine, scents of enchantment, and offer them to a flame, safely, in a cauldron or candle wick. As they curl to ash, voice your deepest yearning. Netzach, Victor eternal, infuse this will with beauty's bloom. Burn the remnants, scatter in wind or soil. This ignites passion's engine, artistic surges, romantic magnetisms, yet warns of excess. If obsession creeps, pair with Gebura's counter below. Common snare. Emotional floods overwhelming action, overcome by journaling post-write. What beauty bursts from this blaze? Within cycles of 7 days, expect breakthroughs, creations birthed, bonds deepen as victory aligns with virtue. At the tree's heart, Tifereth's solar throne, integration dawns. The beauty crucible, a rite for the higher self's coronation. This is the pivot, where lower chaos yields to central harmony. Midday, when the sun claims its zenith, stand in golden light. Window will do if clouds conspire. Arms outstretched as cross, evoking the rose cross of Rosicrucian kin. Breathe the middle pillar exercise. Inhale up the spine from Malkuth to Kether, light flooding each Sephirot like dawn chasing stars. Vibrate the divine names. Eheye for Kether, a hum that rattles the ribs. Yod-He-Vav-He for Tifereth, chest blooming warm. Exhale down, circulating the circuit, right pillar up, left down, central balance. 15 minutes daily transmutes ego's thorns to compassion's crown. Forgiveness flows unbidden. Leadership emerges sans force. Obstacle? The false light of self-importance. Pierce it by dedicating the right's fruits. For the one in all, and tracking in a solar journal. Synchronicities as signs of alignment. Practitioners report epiphanies. Old wounds alchemized. Presences felt in solitude's embrace. Ascending further, Gebra and Chesed, the divine parents, teach polarity's dance. Mercy's ocean tempered by severity's shore. For Chesed's boundless grace, the chalice pouring. Fill a cup with water, spring-fed, infused with honey for sweetness. Hold it at heart level. Visualize Jupiter's blue expanse. Then pour libations into earth or drain, offering excess to the whole. Affirm, Chesed, great giver, let abundance overflow without hoard. This dissolves scarcity's grip, inviting windfalls, unexpected aid, creative floods. Shadow? Indulgence is lethargy. Balance with Gebura's right below. Gebura's forge demands the sword oath. In twilight's forge glow, grip a symbolic blade, athame, butter knife and pinch, and carve air boundaries around your sacred space. Chant, Gebura, strength severe, sever what serves not the light. Name allusions to excise, toxic ties, self-sabotage, and cut them with intent. Follow with salt circle for protection. This burst disciplines diamond. Habits forged, boundaries honored. Trial, wrath's backlash. Soothe with Chesed's aftercare. A warm bath, visualizing red fire, transmuted to protective ember. Together, these pillars craft ethical might. Generosity edged with wisdom, power wielded as service. The supernals crown the work. Kether's dissolution, Chokma's bolt, Bina's womb, rites for the adept's edge, where personal veils thin to collective glow. For Kether, the crown silence. In void's hush, pre-dawn, no tech, sit in zazen pose, gaze at a black mirror or close lids. Cease all mantra. Simply be the point. 10 minutes stretch to eternity. Emerge renewed, ego's chatter stilled. Challenge? Mind's monkey. Anchor with a single breath. In as infinity, out as form. Chokma's wisdom surge. Amid storm or thunder's echo, dance the zigzag, arms lightning, body zigzagging the room. Shout primal, yes. To ideas unborn, capturing in voice notes. This unleashes innovative fire, birthing solutions from ether. Binah's womb weave. In moon's wax, knit or draw forms from chaos. Tapestry threads as thoughts congealed. Whisper, Binah, mother of limits. Birth structure from the storm. This manifests legacies, turning visions to vessels. Weave these into the 22 paths via pathworking. Select a connecting letter, E, G. Path 32, Tav from Yesod to Malkuth, Saturn seal. Visualize traversing it nightly, invoking its tarot, world card, and God form. Tools? A scrying mirror for visions, incense per sphere, patchouli for Malkuth, lotus for Kether. Track in a grimoire, insights, shifts, warnings. These practices promise transformation. Blockages dissolve like mist at dawn, awakening ripples, vitality surges, relationships harmonize, purpose crystallizes. Yet the tree cautions, haste shatters vessels. Begin low, ascend slow. Integrate weekly. Sunday for Tifereth review, Friday for Netzach indulgence. Common pitfalls, doubts whisper, life's deluge, yield to community. Share rites in circles or solo vows renewed at equinox. Embody the tree and you become the arbor vitae, life tree incarnate, branches sheltering shadows, fruits feeding the famished. What rite calls first? The roots await your step. Plant deep and watch worlds unfold. And so, seeker, we stand at the tree's summit, winds of eternity tousling our hair, the infinite gazing back through Kether's unblinking eye. We've journeyed from the shadowed roots of Sumerian epics and Kabbalistic exiles, through the Zohar's crimson veils, to the supernal triad where creation's lightning first cracks the void. We've mapped the Sephirot's decimal dance, Malkuth's earthy throne anchoring our wanderings, Yesod's dream waters reflecting hidden currents, Hod's crystalline logic, and Netzach's verdant passions forging the soul's lower forge. Tifereth's solar heart integrated their fires. Geburah's blade and Chesed's chalice balanced the scales, while Chokmah's bolt, Binah's womb, and Da'at's elusive gnosis unveiled the fractal blueprint of all that is and all that you are. This tree is no inert diagram, no scholar's parlor trick. It is the universe's confession, the soul's hidden meridian where divine exile meets human reclamation. Like the acorn cradling the oak's destiny, or the river etching canyons from stone's resistance, the Etz Chaim reveals your life as emanation, a cascade of light through veils of illusion, fractured yet fertile, demanding your hand in the great Tikkun, the mending of worlds. Its pillars teach the Hermetic rhythm, mercy's expansion, severity's contraction, equilibrium's grace, mirroring the breath of God's in your chest. The 22 paths, those golden threads of Hebrew fire, are invitations, bridges not just crossed, but built anew with every intention, every rite that stirs the ore's dormant spark. Recall the ancestors' warning, etched in Merkaba visions, ascend unworthily, and the chariot wheels crush the climber. Yet herein lies the tree's tender mercy. Its secrets are not hoarded for the elite, but sown like wild seeds for any who till the soil of self. We've armed you with rites, the earth anchor to root in Malkuth's embrace, the dream weaver to harvest Yesod's nocturnal gold, the paradox invocation for Hod's discerning edge, the rose offering to fan Netzach's flame without conflagration. Tifereth's middle pillar circulated your light, Geburah's sword severed chains, Chesed's pour invited floods of grace. The supernals dissolved you in Kether's silence, surged you with Chokmah's yes, wove you in Binah's form, each a key turning locks long rusted in forgetfulness. These practices are your arbor vitae, the tree of life pulsing in the marrow. Dissolve blockages and vitality rivers through stagnant veins, harmonize pillars, and relationships bloom as sacred groves. Attune to paths, and synchronicities cascade like autumn's manna. The fruit? Not fleeting highs, but abiding gnosis. Fear transmuted to fearlessness. Isolation to cosmic kinship. The mundane veil rent to reveal the miracle woven in every atom. Even obstacles bow. Doubt's fog lifts with persistent breathwork. Excess tempers in the pillars dance. The ego's clamor quiets in supernal void. You emerge not as seeker, but as the sought, the microcosm mirroring macrocosm. As above, so below, etched in your awakened gaze. Yet the tree's deepest whisper is this: it is unfinished. Luria's shattered vessels await your gathering. The Klipo husks of modern exile, greed's shell, anger's shard, despair's dross, cry for liberation through your deeds. In a world of fractured mirrors, where algorithms mimic the astral weave yet chain the free, your mastery ripples outward. Heal one fracture, and the collective mends. This is the secret meaning unveiled, not dogma to parrot, but dynamis to unleash. The philosopher's stone in your palm, turning leaden routines to golden rites. As the branches sway in closing cadence, heed this invocation. Plant the tree within tonight. Trace its form on your skin with fingertip or flame shadow. Whisper a Sephirot's name into the dark. Let it grow wild through your choices, the compassionate word, the disciplined pause, the intuitive leap. For in its shade, you shelter the divine spark. From its fruit, you feast on eternity. What if this glyph is not just map, but mirror, reflecting not your flaws, but your forgotten throne? The crown calls not with thunder, but with the quiet thunder of your own becoming. Dare to climb again, tomorrow and tomorrow. The secrets deepen with each dawn, until our paths entwine once more. Walk in the light of Etz Chaim. You are the tree. You are the life. Awaken.